Hello, this is Josh Wells, Captain with Sedona Fire, and I'm going to be one of the facilitators that's going to be teaching the Arbinger for Local 3690, and there's also going to be some other people there from my understanding. So this is a short introduction video, and I want to give you the fundamentals of what we're going to be covering. We only have one day to teach this, and so it's really going to be, I'm going to give you a lot of materials up front. Then we'll have the classroom, and then after that we're going to set up so that we support you, because there's nothing magical about these frameworks or about this material. It's a simple, basic way that you can build better relationships. You can work on creating an excellent culture, but none of it's magic. It requires work, and none of it works if you don't apply it. So this is basically what we're going to cover. The basics of this is it's all going to come down to 7 frameworks. In my videos, I'm going to give you examples of the frameworks. I'll be sending you some videos to kind of teach you what each framework represents, and we'll go into more depth during the class. But as the fundamentals, the main things that you're going to learn is these 7 different frameworks. This video is going to cover the frameworks with you. Again, not getting into the details, but just showing what it is. So without further ado, here's framework. These are the first 4 frameworks we'll be working with. That's one of the things I think is really well done about Arbingers. They keep it simple. And the concept is that simple is not easy to implement. So just because it's simple doesn't mean that there's not a lot of depth, there's not a lot of science, there's not a lot of research, and there's many different organizations, from the military to police departments to corporate organizations, that have successfully implemented Arbinger, and it's really helped them to produce better results. So the thought is that by shifting mindset, you can create better results and a better culture and get more of what it is that you're looking to create. Framework number 1 is about mindset, and it's basically you just, with an outward mindset, you're looking out at other people. With the inward mindset, you're only focused on yourself. Framework number 2, it talks about this concept of self-deception. You were given the book Leadership and Self-Deception, so if you did read that book, great job doing that before class. If you have not done it, then it is something provided as part of this training. I strongly encourage you to read it, and we will cover more about this concept of self-deception during our class. The next one is this is just 4 different types of inward mindset styles, and it helps you to recognize how an inward mindset will show up. There's 4 basic, well, there's basically where you want to be here in the middle is that you see people as people and you treat everyone as a person. The inward mindset styles is you can either drop down to worse than, or you can rise up and think that you're better than people. From the better than is you can go over here and you can feel that you deserve more, you're entitled, and that's just another version of better than, is that you deserve to be treated a certain way. Down here again is worse than, and then there's a need to be seen, is that because you feel worse than, you portray a certain way that you have to be seen to other people. And if you're in any of these mindsets, it's just a symptom that you're caught in this inward mindset. That back over here is what we want to try to avoid if we want to have the most effective team and the most effective results within the organization. Framework number 4 is this talks about conflict. The term here is collusion, and it talks about how we end up having conflict with others, and how when we get into conflict and we get caught in this collusion cycle, the very thing that we're trying to avoid, we end up creating more of it. So this just shows how conflict can progress throughout an organization, and then we get into some healthy ways that you can deal with conflict and avoid conflict and work through conflict. Those are the first frameworks. And then this one is the 5th framework, and this is called the Pyramid of Influence. It gives you a way to relate with people, to build relationships, and to really lead and manage and influence people. And this is a really helpful tool that we're going to cover. We'll get into details on exactly how this works, how you can apply it, and the different ways to apply it. And the other framework, so there's a total of 7, and I've given you, I think outside inside out is number 7, and let's see if I pulled up Number 6 is similar to this one. So we'll just stay with these ones for now. And then there's one other framework that we'll include that's similar to this, where you're looking and applying how the outward mindset applies to different scenarios in different situations. But we're going to end with this final one, which is called outside, inside out. And this is just a framework of whenever you're trying to work with someone, it's best to really find out what's going on with them first before you start creating solutions. Another basic concept you may have heard with this is seek first to understand. And it's basically just saying before you go and try to solve a problem, really get clear on what the problem is and how you can best support the person in solving that problem. So this framework is called outside, inside out. And how it looks here is that it goes out to, if you're a supervisor, you have your reports that you're working with, but you also report up to your manager, you report to your peers and work with your peers, and you work with your customers. So this is just how that applies in all these different directions at work, is that you can have this circular interaction where there's not just feedback coming one way, but it's going both ways, and communication, you're closing communication loops, and you have this open communication where you're constantly aware of what's going on for them, and you're not just working as a dictator, or you're not just receiving information without clarity on why you're doing it or the purpose of it. So that's the summary for now. There is, so again, these are the first 4 here. The mindset here, the concept of self-deception, how we go inward, what it looks like to have an inward mindset, and then how the inward mindset can multiply through conflict. The term here is collusion. The other framework ends up being, I don't have the exact picture pulled up, but it's called the outward mindset at work, and it just applies to these different areas and how you can apply this outward mindset, looking outward to these different areas of people that you have impact with. And the final framework is this guiding framework, which is called outside, inside out. The thought is that you seek first to understand, you look outward first, and then you create solutions based on the feedback you get. A real common thing we do this all the time with is with medical calls, is we go out and we treat patients. Before we treat patients, we ask them a bunch of questions, we get a lot of vital signs from them, and based on the information we get from that, we end up providing the best care based on that, the feedback that we get from them. While this works good on medical calls, a lot of times we don't do it with projects and other type of interactions that we have with the public, with our peers, with the customers. And so there's a lot of other ways that we can apply this and be effective. So I hope that's helpful. I look forward to the training. I'll be sending out a few more videos to help explain what we're going to cover. And I'll also include some assignments. So again, I'm looking with the emails I'm going to send out, I'm looking for any type of feedback you guys have, and I'm really here to serve you and help you guys to get the results that you want. So part of this outside, inside out strategy is that I'm going to give you a lot of material, but feel free to use this email chain as an opportunity to clarify any problems that you want to solve, any communication you want to clear up, or anything that we can do during this process to help you get what you really want out of this. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to training soon.